You start.
Good to be back.
Excellent to be back. We've been back, a lot of guys have been here, but to officially start and address the pitchers and catchers and get them out there, doing these drills that, quite frankly, are very elementary for most of these guys. But like I said yesterday, we're gonna start from ground zero and work our way up and really explain what we're doing and what we want to be done. So it's good to get around and watch everybody do them and do these drills and do them the right way. Not necessarily killing themselves, but the technique has been really good so far.
Chip, as you walk around from field to field, what specifically are you looking at in these initial days?
I'm just looking at how the coaches are coaching. I mean, I trust these guys so much. I'm just listening to what they're saying, and some things you hear a different way, and it resonates with even me. And I'm glad that the players are getting that from all the different coaches. That's one thing, effort I'm looking at. Want to make sure no one's limping around. If there is, to grab them and ask them if they're okay. Because sometimes guys will try to be a hero at this point. And just, when I look at the guys throwing sides, just making sure that they're throwing the ball down in the zone and the bunters are getting the bunts down. So trying to look at everything a little bit and just let the guys kind of know that I'm out there watching and I want this stuff done right.
Mike Butcher has a really good reputation. He's with the Angels for so long. Tell us a little bit about his philosophy because he's got young pitchers and veteran guys.
Right, well, that's why we hired him. We like him. I've liked him for a long time. When I was in Oakland, he was in Anaheim, and we went against each other a lot, and I was always impressed with how his pitchers did things. He pitched down in the zone, used both sides of the plate. But he's been great. I mean, he's been here for a long time now with this group, month and a half with the guys who've been here, working mechanics. And today it was more letting them go and seeing what they learned so far. So his theory is pitch down the zone of what we want, get the ball moving down towards the infield because we have a good infield defense, let them play. So he falls right into line with what we feel like organizationally is important.
See Goldie, Peralta out there giving your pitchers and catchers a look on the day that just pitchers and catchers are supposed to be here. What's it mean to have all those?
Well, I think that's partially it's great for our pitchers because they need that. I mean, it's kind of the next step. So now they throw batting practice to them. I wouldn't call it batting practice, call it pitching practice to the hitters when full camp starts. And then the other side of it is it's good for Goldie. It's good for Dave. They love doing that. It's a good way for them. Whenever hitters struggle during the season, we send them down to the bullpen during the early parts of the day when the starter's throwing his bullpen to just get a visual of what's going on. So yeah, it's a twofold thing. It's great for the pitchers, but it's also great for them.
How does Zach look on day one?
He looked great. Did all the drills, felt good. His bunting. I mean, he's a perfectionist at all of his game, and he was deadening the ball well in the bunts and covering first. Like I said, these are elementary things other than the bunting. The bunting's something that takes a while to get back, but I just like to watch how much they care in these drills. And it was good to watch them. They were very focused. Everybody.
In shape, and we've got that in the season.
Well, I expect them to keep improving. I mean, I thought last year made the team as a long reliever. Basically, we didn't feel like we had enough length in our starting rotation, so he was one of those guys that could give us some length. Pitched well enough to pitch in the 5th, 6th inning. Pitched well enough there to pitch 7th, 8th inning as a setup guy. So obviously he tired out a little bit because of all the innings we threw him, and we worked him hard as a first year as a reliever. So we're very careful this spring to monitor his arm and see how he feels every day, because out of the chute he should be our big lefty late in the game.
From a personal standpoint, how did you feel about what Hudson was able to accomplish last year?
Well, we were very, very happy personally. I mean, that was, between Mike Harkey, myself, Mel Stottlemyre, the training staff, our main goal was to get him through, and we said this over and over, to get him through the season healthy. We not only did that, he got a lot of confidence pitching in the 8th inning, a lot of times towards the end, and he never needed any sort of a long rest. So I was proud that as a group we were able to really monitor him and keep him healthy. But that's, 2 Tommy Johns means that that's something that we have to keep doing over time. He'll be able to throw probably more often, give us more innings this year, but we still have to make sure that his arm is and his body is feeling good.
You said often that velocity is kind of overrated, but his velocity is.
Well, yeah. I mean, velocity. It depends where your velocity is and how much movement is on your velocity. He has a lot of sink to his ball. even his four-seam fastball seems to sink. So, I mean, at 98, 99, that's a tough pitch to hit.
Chip, what's important about the decision and the statement to name Greinke the starter right off the bat?
The decision, I don't think that was a tough one. I mean, this guy's, he's proven it over and over. He's our horse, and that's why we signed him. And he wants to be our number one, and he's a leader out there with the rest of the guys. So I don't think that was probably the easiest decision I've had so far.
You talked about the bunting and, being attention to detail.
Right.
Is that why guys like him are so successful? Because every single rep means something?
I think that's part of it. I do think Goldie's the same way as a hitter, but you have to have talent.
Right.
Let's face it, talent has to be there. And for example, myself, I played in the major leagues for 4 seasons, and I didn't have the talent of most of these guys. So I was what they call an overachiever. So there are overachievers that can keep going on and be good baseball players, but the talent, the physical talent does have to be there, and then when you get the talent with that work ethic, it's a special thing.
What's it mean when a guy like Brandon Johnson says he's gonna go hang out at your minor league facilities during the season, visit with young pitchers, work with them?
Right.
And pretty much volunteering a lot of that, when you have that kind of a mindset for one of the kids at Ross needs.
Yeah, no, it's a great thing. It's one of the advantages. I told our pitchers today, if you look out there, we have a lot of instructors, and Randy's gonna be around with us too. And I said, it'd be a shame when spring training ended if you hadn't gotten something from somebody in this camp that's an instructor. I mean, we have guys who've pitched, who played, who've managed at the highest level of our game in the biggest games in the World Series. So he's one of them. He's one of them. He's going to touch some different people, and 10 years down the road, I think one of these kids probably that's down here in our pitchers mini camp's going to say, so that thing that Randy Johnson said to me really kind of kicked it in for me. So those are special things.
Hey, what's the, we know about the front of the rotation now, but biggest question marks for you toward the back end are what?
Well, I mean, we have to find who they are, and you're talking about our starting rotation.
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, I would say going in, the incumbents are Ruby De La Rosa and Robbie Ray. Those two guys have ended the year in our rotation, showed us very good stuff. Ruby won 14 games. Robbie had a fantastic ERA for a rookie. He's left-handed, throws mid-90s. So those are the incumbents, but I mean, I look down this list and the guys we have with Archie Bradley, Zach Godley, these kids are coming hard and fast at him. And then even in the running drills today, I was watching them, and there's one thing Bruce Arians said to us last year. He came in and talked to the team. He said what he tells this team every year, which is a little different in football, because when you're in football, you get released. Most of these guys are going to play in an organization, but he says, hey, this time of year, you get yours. And that's what those guys, they were out there running, they were getting theirs. And they're showing them how good a shape they are in, and they're throwing the ball like it. They've been here a long time. So Tyler Wagner, we just got from the Brewers, he's another one. So we have, I think we were 10 deep, which you're going to need.
Sure.
You're going to need those 10, maybe 12 guys. A guy like Yohan Lopez last year had a tough year. He's come in here throwing the ball really well.
You want this competition. You want them to have this, correct?
Yes, definitely. We're not going to say, hey, you're our number 4, you're number 5. Obviously Zach Greinke has proven and over the years. Shelby Miller, we got to be in the top of our rotation, and Patrick Corbin is, after his surgery, what he did before the surgery, he's earned it. But Ruby is close to being that guy that you can say, hey, you're in the rotation, but you never know. These other guys, they're going to step up and they're going to compete, and that's what we want. We want competition.
So I'm just curious, what's your relationship with Bruce, and you consider your coaching styles kind of similar?
Well, just talking a little bit. Saw him at the golf tournament. I don't, know what he is. He might be even a little tougher than me, I think. But in football, it's a different coaching mentality. I always said that it's the one last great sport that you can really get after players. In our sport now, we have to be a little kinder and gentler. It's a little different.
What was your in-season relationship with Tony? Did you bounce managerial
Yes,
stuff?
all the time. I've said this over and over to people. He is a first guesser, not a second guesser. So what he does is he comes in before the game, at night, way after the game's over, and talks to me about different things for the next day, for the next series, for the next month. Just things to be thinking about, be ready for. What do you think about this? He never ever came in and said, "What the heck you doing? Why would you put a bunt on there? Why would you take out the pit?" Never second guess anything we did. He knows how hard it is on the field. But I constantly would call him and say, "What do you think about that move?" And he'd say, "Well, this was your options." He never said, "I would have done this." He just said, "These are the different things you could have done." So he was great.
What about mood of these guys? I mean, it's not every offseason a team can add a 1 and a 2.
Right.
So what is, from the guys you've seen throughout the winter, the leaders on this team who sell the message internally, what's been their reaction to what this organization has done?
Oh, they're ecstatic. Number one, they've all voiced that to me, whether it's through face-to-face contact, texts, calls. They're all excited about it. We saw where we were at the end of last year. When you start infusing these different players, pitchers, it gets guys geeked up. But I said it yesterday. It's great, and the one thing that's very important for me and for our staff is to keep guys healthy, because we need that talent on the field. But we haven't done anything yet. We have really good teams in our division. The Giants, the Dodgers, the Padres, the Rockies are better. It's going to be a tough go. So I'm sure right now, as every other team and every other camp is saying, "Hey, we got a chance to win." It's day one. So, but they were answering your question. Yes, they were very, very excited about the moves.
Everybody here that you expected to be here? Everybody here today?
Everybody's here. Everybody's here.
Anybody have any setbacks today?
Nope, that's what I was going around, and that's my biggest question was to every trainer, "Are we okay? We okay?" So a lot of times, as of right now, yes, we'll see after every. I don't think they're all done doing their conditioning, so hopefully they'll come through okay.
Chip, how will Patrick benefit from being alongside Zach and Shelby?
I mean, I don't think anybody in this camp, Patrick Corbin, any of these guys cannot benefit. They should all benefit from what they see from Zach. If you watch Zach throw his size, for example, and we'll do that as we get going, we'll have our starters watch some of our older pitchers throw their size, and just the tactician that he is and how much he puts into these bullpens. I think that in itself will help him. And Patrick is that type of pitcher. It's just he hasn't done it as long as Zach has.
Chip, what do you like about adding a guy like Clippard in the bullpen kind of lately?
Depth, and we talked about the great question about the depth of the starting rotation. I think everybody in baseball kept saying, "Well, they've added to their starters, but what about the bullpen?" And we really feel like our young kids we have, Bracho, Burgos, we have great arms and great potential there. And if this happens or if that happens, we'd be in good shape. But to add a Clippard takes that if out of there. You have Ziegler, Clippard, and Hudson, who we know can be successful in the major leagues pitching those last 2 innings. Ziegler obviously the ninth if he's tired, Clippard or Hudson can throw the ninth. So that adds depth and moves everybody down and gives us more competition for those last few spots in the bullpen.
Looking at some of those fans out there down here, does it seem like there's a little bit more excitement this early on?
Yeah, I was thinking about that going around because I was trying to get around to everybody. And the worst thing, I hate to say no to someone for an autograph, but I'm trying to get the station as I sign after. And there are more people, and it's great. The excitement's great. I'm sure the weekend will even have more when school's out. I did that ran through my head, and the one thing that I remembered was after the World Series year, I was my first year I was a Double-A manager, and I came to big league camp as a coach, and there was a ton of people down in Tucson at the time, and it was maybe more than this. And that's the only thing I was thinking, there were more after we were, so if we're gonna win the World Series, we'll have our lot, because there'll be a lot more people here in Phoenix. But I can remember as a coach hitting fungos to Randy as a young coach, and it was almost like I was a player game. My hands were sweaty, and there was people right on top of me. I mean, hundreds of people behind me. I'm thinking, geez, don't choke here.
What's the most common thing fans say to you? Out and about, or
Coach, can you sign this? They just say good luck, and around town I see people where I'm working out, and they're just excited. They're excited about the D-backs. They're excited about the evolution. I mean, it's been a fun off season for us. But that off season, now we're in, and we got to get it going and prove it on the field. It doesn't matter what it says on paper.
Just curious, one of your players yesterday said he might wear it baseball pants you had to the club one time.
Yeah, it might work.
You-
If we win games, I'm sure. I'm sure he'll get some phone numbers for that.
Hey, walking around the station to station, as you were saying, are you sit back and say, hey, this is my team and this is a team I'm excited about?
I am very excited about it. I don't really think about it's us. It's it's we. It's a family. I mean, Tony and Stu, they're so into this, and Derek and Ken, Jeff Royer. We've talked extensively about this group, and I'm just happy to get them out there and get them going. Like I said, it looks good on a sheet of paper, but it has to mesh. And these guys understand it. They know. I've said it yesterday. We want to be the most fundamentally sound team organization in baseball, from the Dominican League to Chase Field. So that's going to take some work, and they know that.
Skip the bullpen, how many left, are you playing, 1, 2,
How many left-handed relievers?
yeah.
We'll see. We'll see how it falls. I mean, in a perfect world, you'd love to carry 12 pitchers with 7 relievers and 2 lefties. But last year we carried 13 pitchers all year, so we'll see how it goes. We'll see how our starters look coming out of camp. We'll see how the lefties look. If our righties can get lefties out, and he's a better option for us, and we'll take one lefty. But there's a lot of competition here. We have some guys in camp that are going to push. They're going to push. They're non-roster guys, but I've seen them throw a bunch now, and they have major league time with Rice. With the Mets, he pitched very well. Lowen. These guys are, kind of coming in here under the radar, so they're going to push some of our guys. Reynolds threw the ball well at the end of the year. Hessler. So we have some guys to compete.
I thought Reynolds threw really well today.
Yeah.
I was watching a little bit.
Excellent. I got some drones flying around with the video, so I'm gonna check that and make sure you were behind them.
Just out of curiosity, your team doesn't get the same national exposure as the Giants and the Dodgers. I think that's fair to say from a national perspective.
Right.
The best kept secret on this club is who, in your mind, nationally? The guy who has not emerged yet as a name amongst all fans, but
Probably David Peralta, of all of them. I think AJ came out last year as an all-star and Gold Glove and Goldies. I think all of them are underrated by the national fan, but probably David. I think David's going to be the guy this year that sort of blossoms like AJ did last year. So I'd say that guy. But you hate to put anybody's name out there and give him the old Sparky Anderson. So I hate to do that, but I do think he's a grinder in the way he plays. I think one thing that baseball fans are starting to get back to and appreciating is the way you play the game. And that's why I think fans do care for our team and really, really get into it, is we play the game the right way, and we will continue to do that. And David is one of those leaders. I mean, his nickname's a freight train. He plays like a freight train.
That's good.
Good, thanks guys.
thank you.